Desiree's Dream. Chapter 22. The Joy Out of Love. After the treasure hunt, Desi and Alex settle into their old routine. Alex got promoted to supervisor in the cotton warehouse. Desi had more responsibilities, maintaining the farm, which had grown to include a medium-sized pen lined with chicken wire, sheltering more chickens. Alex had built for her. A new modest barn was where Droopy and 2 other plowing horses dwelled. In the pen were 2 monster hogs with 5 tiny piglets. Additionally, a large milk cow in the barn required daily milking. Alex had built a small pier on the river up over the muddy bank so they could sit by the water's edge and catch fish and crawfish for a hearty meal. Lastly, Alex now lived in the cabin with Desi, and the lean-to had been converted into a workshop and storage area. Desi's garden now contained herbs and spices along with the many vegetables. The morning sun bathed the countryside in a golden light, casting shadows dancing across the dewy fields. As the rays pierced through the trees, Alex sat on the porch, his weathered hands cradling a steaming mug of coffee. The rich aroma filled his senses, a comforting ritual he cherished every morning. He took a sip, savoring the bitter taste, and sighed, contented. His gaze drifted across the land, a peaceful kingdom he and Desi had built. Beauregard, the old hound, emerged from the woods, his once sturdy legs now weary with age. He strolled towards the porch, the morning's chores weighing on his joints. Alex watched him with affection and concern, knowing the loyal dog's days of chasing rabbits were long behind him. Alex rose with a final gulp of coffee, his mind buzzing with excitement and anticipation. He had a plan, a special surprise for Desi, but first, the farm duties needed attention. He inhaled the fresh morning air, the scent of hay and earth mingling with the fragrance of wildflowers, a reminder of Desi's touch on the land. He strode towards the barn, his boots crunching the dew-covered grass. Inside, the cow awaited, with her udders full. Alex grabbed the metal bucket, its cold surface contrasting with the warm morning. He sat beside the cow, and as he began to milk, a loud, contented moo echoed through the barn. The sound mingled with the gentle rustling of hay and the soft chewing of the horses in their stalls. He glanced around, seeing Desi's care in every corner of the hay she had stacked, the water troughs she'd filled. It was a silent tribute to her love and dedication. The milk flowed, a creamy white stream filling the bucket with nature's bounty. The task was almost meditative, and Alex's mind wandered back to Desi. He pictured her smile, the sparkle in her eyes, and how she made this simple life feel like a grand adventure. With a final squeeze, the cow yielded the last drops, and Alex placed the brimming bucket on the table. He replenished the horses' hay and Droopy's water trough, the sound of sloshing water a refreshing melody. The animal's calm presence soothed his nerves as he worked, a respite from the anticipation building within him. Carrying the milk, Alex made his way back to the cabin. The morning sun had risen higher, its rays now streaming through the windows, illuminating the humble home. The room's warmth embraced him as he entered, and Desi stood there, bathed in sunlight. Her nightgown, thin as a whisper, clung to her curves, and Alex's heart skipped at the sight. She stretched, her body graceful and cat-like, and yawned, her voice breaking the morning silence. "You're up early," she said, her eyes still heavy with sleep. "Couldn't you sleep?" Alex approached her, his footsteps soft on the wooden floor. "Not really," he replied, his smile warm and loving. "I wanted to get an early start on the chores. But I've got something special planned for you." His hands found their way to her waist, and he pulled her close, his eyes never leaving hers. Desi's eyes widened, reflecting the morning sun's radiance. "A surprise. For me?" She leaned into him, her curiosity mirroring his excitement. "But it's not even my birthday." Alex's fingers gently brushed her cheek, a fleeting touch that left her wanting more. "Oh, Desi," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "You'll have to wait and see. I'm off to town to fetch the final pieces. It won't be long now." Desi's expression shifted from curiosity to surprise as she watched him leave, her eyes following his retreating figure until the door closed behind him. As the sound of the wagon faded into the distance, she was left with a mixture of anticipation and wonder, the mystery of Alex's surprise lingering in the air like the fading notes of a beloved melody. It had just been 10 minutes since Alex left. Desi sat at the table with a hint of anxiety. Suddenly, something made her go towards the front window. Her breath quickened when she heard the commotion, an unusual ruckus for the serene countryside. She grabbed the 4-10 shotgun with practiced ease and peered cautiously through the glass. A sight both amusing and perplexing greeted her. Beauregard was putting on quite a display in the front yard. He sprinted with unbridled haste, his fur glistening in the golden light, and then rolled in the lush grass, a frantic gaze in his eyes. His antics were familiar to Desi, but this time, there seemed to be an added urgency to his behavior. "Beauregard, what mischief have you gotten yourself into now?" Desi murmured, her voice carrying a mixture of exasperation and affection. Setting the shotgun aside, she stepped out, the wooden porch creaking beneath her feet. The evening air carried the scent of fresh earth and a hint of wildflowers, but something else lingered, a peculiar, musky odor. It was then that she noticed the source of Beauregard's strange behavior. Desi's heart sank as she spotted the skunk, its signature black and white fur unmistakable. Oblivious to the impending disaster, Beauregard continued his frolicking, rolling in the grass with abandon. Desi's eyes narrowed with determination. She darted to the back of the cabin, to the lean-to, where she gathered her supplies, a substantial washtub, its metal gleaming with the rising sun, a quart jar filled with a golden liquid, and an armful of soft rags. When she rounded the corner, Desi looked for the stinky creature, but it was no longer there. Slowly, Desi approached Beauregard, a blanket billowing gently in the evening breeze. She intended to wrap him up before he caused further trouble, but sensing something amiss, the hound began to bark. Usually filled with mischief, his loyal eyes now held a hint of confusion. Just as Desi was about to soothe him, a rustling sound froze her in place. She spun around, her eyes widening at the sight. Sensing an intruder, the skunk was back and had lifted its tail, ready to unleash its notorious defense mechanism. In a heartbeat, Desi found herself drenched in a putrid-smelling liquid. The acrid odor stung her nostrils, and she stifled a cough. Desi snatched the washtub with remarkable presence, raising it as a barrier between herself and the animal. She pounded on it, the metallic clangor reverberating through the yard until the startled skunk hurried away. Witnessing the ordeal, Beauregard whined softly, his once playful demeanor replaced by concern. Desi, despite the unfortunate turn of events, managed a small smile. She patted her leg, beckoning him closer. "It's all right, boy. We'll fix this," she assured him. With the skunk's departure, Desi set about her task, the golden liquid transforming into a soothing bath that erased the evidence of the skunk's presence. As she washed herself and Beauregard by the river, the sun rose above the horizon, painting the sky with hues of crimson and amber. Beauregard, his coat now clean, sat by her side, his sad eyes mirroring the fading light as if asking, "Will everything be all right?" The sweet scent of honey filled the cabin as Desi, graceful yet determined, tended to the aftermath of the unfortunate incident. She had endured the most peculiar of situations, and now, with a delicate touch, she patted her legs and ran her fingers through her hair, the golden liquid glistening in the afternoon sunlight. A faint fragrance wafted from behind her ears, a subtle attempt to mask the lingering odor that had become their unwelcome companion. Beauregard, the mischievous pooch, seemed oblivious to Desi's efforts. As she stepped outside, the dog rolled in the dewy grass, its fur glistening in the fading light. Desi sighed, resigned that some scents were impossible to escape. Unbeknownst to her, Alex was on his way, a determined glint in his eye. He had transformed, a fresh haircut and a clean shave now smoothed his once rugged appearance. The crisp new shirt hugged his shoulders, a silent testament to his love for Desi. As he guided the wagon towards the cabin, his heart quickened at seeing Beauregard's peculiar behavior. The dog's refusal to greet him set his senses on high alert. The air grew thicker as he neared the cabin, and with a single breath, the foul smell assaulted his nostrils. Alex's eyes softened with understanding as he whispered the words laced with empathy to his pet. He stepped down from the wagon, his mind racing with thoughts of Desi, the gold ring burning a hole in his pocket. With each step towards the door, his nerves tightened, but his love for Desi remained his guiding force. Desi sat, her posture tense and defeated. Alex's heart sank at the sight of her. The usually vibrant woman now resembled a broken doll, her typically smooth skin a greasy mess, reflecting the light like an oil-soaked wheel. Her hair, usually flowing in gentle waves, was now a tangled mess, standing on end as if lightning struck her. As Alex approached, his footsteps slow and cautious, he noticed her arms. Tiny black spots adorned her porcelain skin, like mischievous freckles dancing across her body. But as he drew closer, he realized these were no ordinary marks. They moved and wriggled, and the realization hit him like a gust of cold wind. The skunk, that mischievous creature, had visited her, too. Desi's eyes, usually sparkling with life, were now downcast, avoiding his gaze. Her lips trembled, a mixture of embarrassment and frustration. Alex couldn't help but let out a small chuckle, his eyes crinkling at the corners as he understood the humorous predicament they found themselves in. "My dear Desi," he began, his voice soft and reassuring, "I won't be a moment. I have a plan to get you out of this mess." Desi's head snapped up, her emerald eyes filled with worry. "Please, don't leave me like this, Alex. I feel like a sticky mess." Her voice quivered, the weight of the situation becoming too much for her. "I'm just fetching some supplies," he assured her. "I'll have you clean and fresh as a daisy." "You wait, my love." Alex darted out of the room with a quick wink, leaving Desi wondering about his plan. Moments later, Alex returned, the morning dew glistening on his skin from the short trip to the lean-to. In his hands, he carried a bottle of Kentucky whiskey, the golden liquid shimmering within. Setting it down on the table with care, he made his way to the river, his footsteps fading into the morning calm. Several trips later, the wash basin was filled with cool river water, ready to wash away the evidence of the skunk's mischievous antics. Alex, with tender precision, prepared the space for Desi's comfort. He carefully laid out a plush blanket, its softness akin to a cloud, beneath the chair, ensuring a cozy haven for her and capturing any liquid as he cleaned her body. Alex removed it with practiced ease as she sat, enveloped in her blanket, dipping a small cloth into the amber whiskey liquid. Time seemed to melt away as he dedicated himself to tending to Desi's well-being. The sweet scent of the honey mixture filled the air as he worked diligently cleaning her skin. The process was methodical, each swipe of the cloth carrying the soothing aroma of whiskey. After 60 minutes of meticulous care, Alex shifted his attention to the river water, its coolness providing a refreshing contrast. He bathed her skin, the water glistening on her body, and then gently patted her dry with a cotton rag, its softness rivaling Egyptian cotton. Desi's gaze never wavered from Alex, her eyes warm and filled with gratitude. The rise and fall of her chest mirrored the rhythm of his movements as he carefully navigated the curves of her bosom, his touch gentle and respectful. But as Alex's cloth ventured below her waist, Desi's hand shot out, her grip firm yet gentle on his wrist. "I can manage from here," she said, her voice firm but laced with a hint of amusement. "You can start by collecting the rags, my dear. Put them in the wash basket and take them out." Alex's throat made a quiet rumble, a mixture of surprise and playful compliance. "Of course, my lady," he replied teasingly. As he gathered the rags, their dampness a testament to his efforts, he couldn't help but let a slight grin escape, his thoughts betraying a hint of mischief. Just as things were becoming intriguing, he mused, his mind momentarily lingering on the warmth of her skin and the sparkle in her eyes before turning his attention to the practical task at hand. The cabin was aglow with the soft radiance of the oil lamps, casting a warm ambience upon Desiree's delicate figure. She stood before the mirror, her silk nightgown cascading gracefully down her slender frame, as the gentle breeze from the open window caressed her skin. When Alex entered the cabin, disrupting the serene atmosphere, Desiree's heart skipped a beat. With a graceful turn, she faced the door, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. The sight of Alex, his rugged features tinged with a hint of anxiety, brought a smile to her face. "You're back," she said, her voice filled with relief and tenderness. "And I must say, you've left me quite curious about my surprise." Desiree's playful tone belied the flutter in her heart. Alex's hand flew to his pocket, his eyes widening in realization. "Heavens, I almost forgot," he murmured, a sheepish smile on his lips. He approached her cautiously, the wooden floorboards creaking under his boots, each step deliberate. Desiree's curiosity deepened, her breath catching in her throat. The felt box, concealed behind Alex's back, became the focal point of her attention as he drew closer, his very presence filling the space between them with unspoken affection. When they came, his words were laced with the intensity of his feelings. "Desiree, my dear, my love, you are my heart." His eyes, a deep ocean of emotion, held hers captive as he gently kissed her, his touch sending shivers down her spine. Alex stepped back, his gaze never leaving Desiree's face, his eyes glistening with a gleaming stare. With deliberate movements, he descended on one knee, the wooden floor creaking beneath him, adding a dramatic resonance. The box, now revealed, shimmered in the fading light, a golden promise held aloft. Desiree's eyes, a vivid blue, mirrored the ring's radiance as tears threatened to spill over. The air was thick with anticipation, the silence a testament to their unspoken love. Alex's voice, hoarse with emotion, broke the stillness. "Desiree, my sweet, my love, will you be mine forever?" Desiree's response was immediate, passionate, and filled with the magic of the moment. "Yes, my beloved. 1,000 times, yes." Her embrace enveloped him, her joy palpable, as the cabin became a sanctuary of love, witnessed only by the fading light and the gentle whisper of the wind.